After years of being deprived of the fantastic Legend of Heroes series, Western audiences have finally been brought up to date on the latest entry in Falcom's masterful RPG franchise, thanks once again to publisher Xseed. Released on September 6, 2016 for the PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3, The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 is a direct sequel to 2015's Trails of Cold Steel. As you may have guessed, having knowledge of the prior game is necessary before playing Trails of Cold Steel 2. There are also many callbacks to previous games from the Trails in the Sky and the still unlocalized Crossbell games. And in series tradition, players who have cleared the prior game can load their save for some extra goodies and items. So this review, while not showing footage or discussing the plot past the first chapter of Cold Steel 2, may still contain some minor spoilers for the first Trails of Cold Steel. As such, if you have any desire to play these titles with as little prior knowledge as possible, then know that both of these games and the whole Legend of Heroes series are easy recommendations to make for anyone remotely interested in RPGs. So if you're caught up on the latest events in the Trails of Cold Steel games, or you simply don't care and wish to watch the review anyway, let's get on with the review proper. Trails of Cold Steel 2 takes place a month after the first Trails of Cold Steel's ending. Following the sudden outbreak of a civil war across the Erbonia Empire, returning hero Rean Schwarzer wakes up to find himself stranded in his hometown of Ymir, ripped away from his friends and school life that he had cherished over the previous year. It doesn't take long for the war to find its way back into Rean's life as his sister Elise and the Princess Alphen are kidnapped by agents of the noble faction. From here, Rean embarks on a journey across his war-torn country to gather his friends from Class 7 as well as to save Elise and Alphen. The overall story, while well written, full of great character interaction and plenty of exciting moments, is quite formulaic. The first chapter in particular is fairly linear, as players will be tasked from going town to town in order to find students from Class 7. This involves going to a location from the previous game, finding party members, tackling some side quests, and then proceeding through a dungeon before repeating this process again until the entire cast from the first game is entirely reassembled. The overall story is also surprisingly straightforward and lacks many shocking twists or unexpected reveals for the majority of the game. At the end of the story, I was still puzzled as to what the villain's motivations in participating in the Civil War were. With that said, the game's finale is incredibly well done and left me eagerly awaiting the next game in the series to see how the events set up in the conclusion pan out. While the first game ended on a massive cliffhanger, Trails of Cold Steel 2 offers a much more satisfying conclusion with some huge revelations that will impact the future of the series. With that said, I also enjoyed seeing how many of the side stories centering around the lives of NPCs continue and play a bigger role in this game, with many of those subplots returning and seeing some form of closure. I won't go into further story details to avoid spoilers, but each chapter of the game changes the core goals of Rean's group and the pacing of this adventure drastically. Initially, I was concerned that most of the game would follow the structure of Chapter 1, as the first 12 to 15 hours of gameplay were quite linear. However, the second and third chapters enable the player to travel freely between the different regions of Erbonia, with an excellent fast travel system that makes tracking region-spanning quests easily manageable. The core battle system is largely unchanged from the previous game, with a few new additions. Linking party members together to string together follow-up attacks functions exactly like before. One new ability, Overdrive, can be performed with any party member linked with Rean. This state can be entered either during their turn or Rean's turn. Entering Overdrive will restore health, EP, and CP to Rean and his partner, but the real use of Overdrive are the 3 uninterrupted turns which guarantee link attacks to build up bravery points to then unleash a rush or burst attacks, making it invaluable for more difficult encounters and boss battles. Overdrive is a great addition to this already well-developed turn-based battle system and makes it even more fast-paced and exciting. Initially, Rean is the only party member capable of using Overdrive, but over the course of the game, other characters can also unlock this ability through completing challenge chests found throughout the game world. These chests unlock encounters that require the use of specific party members, and upon completion unlock an Overdrive link between the characters used to complete the challenge. Most of these battles are not too difficult, although using party members who are not in my regular rotation proved to be challenging, as the cast of party members is quite large and ensuring everyone's equipment and abilities are up to date is an expensive challenge in of itself. For the most part, your battle party will consist of members from Class 7, but I did enjoy seeing many of the supporting cast from the previous game make their playable debut, and made for some tough decisions in deciding who to bring along. The overall difficulty of most encounters is quite low. I rarely found myself needing to use items or spells, and could consistently just blow through them using craft skills. Boss battles, on the other hand, are much more challenging and will require some careful planning, and often had me shifting my battle strategy. Due to the events of the previous Cold Steel, Reen has the ability to control the Ashen Knight Valimar, introducing another battle system, Divine Knight Battles. Unlike regular encounters, the Divine Knight Battles happen periodically during the course of the story. In this battle system, Reen fights in his Escaflowne style mech, and fights other large enemies in mecha. The primary rules of this system are shared with the regular battles, such as unbalancing enemies to earn additional attacks, and building bravery points to unleash even more devastating finisher moves. Valimar will become more powerful over the course of the game, unlocking new skills and abilities as the game progresses. Players will also be able to equip and manage bonus buffs to Valimar later in the story. Later in these types of battles, you will have the ability to link with a partner of your choosing that can be swapped on the fly, and grants access to a specific set of skills, which can also restore HP and EP. In addition, linking with a partner and completing a Divine Knight battle with them selected will grant link points between them and Reen. Once again, increasing your link points and link level with each party member will unlock further buffs and special link abilities in battle. Outside of fighting, you can also spend free days socializing with your party members to further boost link levels and learn more about that specific character, just like the previous game. Although Cold Steel 2 actually has some romantic payoff depending on who Reen spends his free time with. There is also returning mini-games, with fishing coming back in full force, and the card game Blade returning with additional rules as Blade 2. Although my favorite distraction outside of battles was easily the snowboarding mini-game, available in Ymir, that actually has some great rewards for completing each course, which are added after main plot events and chapter progression. The visuals are largely unchanged from the first game, although I did notice that the Vita port ran smoother with quicker loading times when compared to the first game. I cannot comment on the PlayStation 3 version as I did not have access to that version of the game at the time of this review. An area that should not surprise anyone familiar with Falcom games is the outstanding soundtrack. Once again, Falcom's sound team delivers a legendary set of tracks that's even better than the previous game's soundtrack and deserves recognition as some of their absolute best work. As well, the game's vocal cast from Cold Steel returns to reprise their roles, and once again everyone does a great job of bringing each character to life. For fans of the previous Legend of Heroes games, and especially the first Trails of Cold Steel, picking up the Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 should be a no-brainer. While this sequel is unevenly paced and lacks shocking plot twists until the conclusion, Trails of Cold Steel 1 and 2 are most definitely worth playing through for RPG fans, thanks to a frantic and fun battle system, incredible music, and a masterfully crafted world setting with great dialogue and character interaction. I, among many others, will eagerly await to see what this series has in store in the future with its third entry. That's all for now. If you're interested in seeing more reviews, playthroughs, and other RPG related videos, be sure to subscribe by clicking the button below. Thanks for watching.